Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Suzerain, the Rizia DLC. It's been a while, but we are back. We are here to continue on with our great journey as King Romus Toras. But first, what's going on in the news? So the Suzerain heir gives speech about trust, but can he be trusted? In a recent display of audacity, Rizia's People Party leader and House Suzerain heir Manus Suzerain chose to grandstand about trust at the Scarlet King's Bird Festival, the largest annual event in Bernas. The choice of topics seemed steeped in irony, given his well-documented skepticism towards the monarchy that forms the bedrock of our kingdom. In front of an audience that includes His Majesty King Romus and Her Highness Princess Vina, he gave an emotional speech that left many Suzerain supporters teary-eyed. But that left us at the Herald, wondering about his true motivations. One couldn't help but wonder if this decision to grant the opening speech to young Manus instead of the mayor of Sables was an attempt by House Suzerain to capitalize on a royal event for political gain. And Rufus Grog's royal gossip. Now, now, we know what it takes to get her heir. Let me repeat that. Well, now we know what it takes to get Her Highness off her seat and onto the ballroom floor. A request from a dashing and dangerous young heir to House Suzerain. VIP visitors to this year's Scarlet Kingbird Festival were treated to the sight of Princess Vina and Duke Manus making goo-goo eyes at each other while cutting a rug. What does that even mean? Just a polite dance or something more? And what? Oh, what will her father say? Stay tuned, dearest readers. President Walker boosts welfare, faces economic challenge. President Dwight Walker's decision to expand Arcasia's welfare spending through deficit financing has delivered mixed results, easing social unrest while driving up the nation's debt-to-GDP ratio to a concerning 90%. Coward, those are baby numbers. I would not go. I wouldn't even visit a country that's debt-to-GDP ratio was less than 125%. Okay. The move has quelled protests and boosted Walker's approval rating, but has also weakened public support for Charles Devereux, the reformist union. Critics have raised concerns about the growing debt may limit Arcasia's ability to respond to future economic crises, placing long-term financial stability at risk. The administration now faces the challenge of sustaining social welfare programs while navigating the economic risk posed by mounting national debt. And what do we got going on over here? Trade has slowed as the checkpoints have increased. Not even going to worry about that at all. I've kind of forgotten how to move the map, to be honest. Yeah, it's right click. We got a meeting with Rusty Montoro. Or, oh, this is just like a little event. Okay. Golconda's pilgrims demand access at Morella border. A considerable congregation of devout Golconist pilgrims from Dirdia and Morella have congregated at the Port d'Art border, seeking entry into Rizia for their sacred pilgrimage. Allowing these pilgrims to cross into Rizia could boost our global image as a bastion of tolerance and compassion. However, these groups may intend to visit holy sites that are currently restricted under our laws. Well, if I remember correctly, we don't like the Golcondist. I'm trying to remember again. It's been a while. But you know what? Reject their passage. We are not open and tolerant towards the Golcondists. We cannot trust them. What's going on in the rest of the world? Morella's condemned our border policy. Of course they would. They're losers, and we hate them. And Rizian Oil and Gas continues. Assessment of new gas fields. The Rizian Oil and Gas Corporation is continuing its assessment on the newly discovered gas field off the country's coast, tentatively nicknamed Arroyos. In cooperation with the Palesian scientists, a team of geologists have begun seismic surveys to determine the field's exact borders. It is expected that the surveys will be completed within the next several months. Okay. Situation: half full military supplies, average military manpower pool. Honestly, having average, I don't think is that bad. I think all things considered, it could be substantially worse. And what we do need is we do need more trucks. Our truck situation is not great. Construct industry parks, support vehicles, which is what I think that we do need, right? Because your trucks, is trucks support vehicle? I mean, what else would it be? I mean, it has to be trucks. So what do we need for this? Yeah, plus 75 support vehicles per turn. Everyone would be okay with it. We're just poor. Okay. Fair enough. Is there anything we can do to be less poor right now? Available. By the way, I will say this is not what's available because I can't choose these. Now, remember, our energy is bad. We're currently at neutral. Because we're trying to get our... we're giving a lot of energy to Rumberg, if I remember correctly. Legalize legal substances, religion. I don't think we need to worry about any of this right now. Religious tax. -4 authority, +2 budget. Everyone's kind of okay with it. And we can use that. What do we need? That gives us +2. What do we need for the trucks? 3. Okay, actually, that will not pay for the trucks. Unfortunately. But at some point, for sure. On the banks of the Zapana River in Brosnaz stood Palace Vernia. Almost as opulent as my own palace, it had once served as a summer residence for my ancestors, the Rubaz family. Today it was home of the Russello Rusty Montoro, the CEO of Rizian Royal Gold and the wealthiest commoner in the country. I stepped out on the deck of the Rizian as the yacht approached the palace's private dock. Hugo and Alina were already there, gazing up at the grounds. I can't believe what I'm seeing. Palace Vernia without its water garden is no palace at all. I think it's an improvement myself. But what do you make of this, Your Majesty? I looked in the direction as she was indicating. The water garden, once a tranquil oasis filled with blossoming flowers and gently burbling fountains, had been replaced with a gigantic gold tiled swimming pool. I mean, that does sound a bit hideous. You know what's hideous? I hate new money. I'd be surprised if Mr. Montoro ever even used it. Suddenly, a group of armed men exited the palace in single file. They positioned themselves at equal intervals around the dock. Why are they armed? They followed us with their eyes as we disembarked and walked towards the palace veranda. As I passed the largest guard, I noticed that he was wearing a badge that read Palantor Security Solutions. Goddamn Arcasians, man. They're already trying to influence our beautiful country. Palantor? Are you Arcasian? He stared at me with a look of non-comprehension. There was a rustle behind me as Titus shifted his weight on high alert. Rusty rose from where he'd been sitting and rushed over to us. Antony! That's no way to treat our royal visitors. Why does he look like the guy from... He doesn't look like Kevin James. He looks like... Ah, shit. What am I thinking of? He looks like, actor he played... Like, who is the whale in the movie The Whale? You know what I'm talking about? It's not Ben Stiller, right? I don't think it's Ben Stiller. But he kind of looks like that. Maybe I'm crazy. The guard reluctantly bowed and stepped aside. Rusty ushered us past him, shaking his head as he did so. Oh, I'm so sorry. You can take the guards out of Acacia, but can't now. You know. The gold magnate's red hair was streaked with gray, but his eyes had a youthful mischief about them. He gestured towards a number of floral patterned chairs that had been set out on the terrace, overlooking the pool. On behalf of all of us at the esteemed Rizian Royal Gold Corporation, I do hereby extend my cordial greetings to your royal delegation. He trimmed off with a grin. Heck, I've never one for formalities. Welcome to my palace, Your Majesty. Let's see, Well, thank you, Mr. Montoro. Rusty, please. Calling me Mr. Montoro is like trying to put an elevator in an outhouse. He turned to Hugo and Alina. Your Grace, Madam Treasurer, haven't had a sit-down with you two since the last gentleman wore the crown. My uncle gritted his teeth. You must mean my honorable brother, His Majesty King Valero. May he rest in peace. Now, Hugo, Rusty paid his respects at the funeral like everybody else. She shook Rusty's hand. He beckoned for us to sit as his valets brought over water and fresh fruit. Okay, I mean, I don't remember why we're here. You know what? What's the occasion? Do you need an occasion to catch up with an old friend? I couldn't help noticing that you've been crisscrossing the kingdom lately, and no royal tour would be complete without a visit to my modest little hideaway. A shame Her Highness couldn't make it, too occupied with her latest beau. One dance not a beau make. We'd appreciate it if you didn't speculate about Princess Vina's romantic prospects. You know what? You know what? My daughter is a private person. Her love life is strictly off limits. Well, alright. I'll cut to the chase then. He sat back and unbuttoned the top button of his shirt. Now, as you know, Rizian Royal Gold boasts a long, proud history of cooperation with the crown. Okay. You say cooperation, I say usury. I mean, I have no reason to be hostile to Rusty at the moment. Don't overinflate your company's importance. I mean, I'll flatter him for now. It has been indeed a mutual beneficial partnership, and I intend to keep it that way. Well, then I'm glad that we're on the same page. My point being, as a trusted business associate, there's something I need to bring to your attention. Feast your eyes on this. He picked up a piece of paper from the table next to him. It was a flyer with a few sentences written in both Rizian and Veznek. Supervisors of my mines have gotten word that the workers are on hold, holding after-hour meetings on the subject of unsafe conditions. The first step to unionizing. I don't know if I'd go that far, but the more employees put their heads together, the more dangerous their ideas get. Alina struggled to keep a pleasant expression on her face. Have there been any accidents lately? Anything that might have triggered this? Rusty snorted. Accidents have been part of the job since the dawn of time. You used to say you weren't really a miner until you were missing a finger. You know what? Did you ever work in the mines yourself, Rusty? Rusty slowly held up his left hand. His little finger had been lopped off at the second joint. First week in the job in Ogno. Thought I'd save time by fixing a blockage in one of the ore processors. Reach right in, and what do you know? Started working again. But I blame the RRG for my boneheaded stupidity. Your Majesty, I did not. Hugo cleared his throat. Do you have a request for His Majesty, Mr. Montoro? Or have you merely invited us here to complain? Not complain. To warn. This is more than just about a few disgruntled miners. Rumor has it the RPP's picking up the cause, which is the Rizian People's Party. Since when are you worried about the Rizian People's Party, Mr. Montoro? I mean, he is right to be worried. I don't know if I trust him necessarily. Okay. The miner. Oh, you know, I pressed the wrong button. No, I don't want to be friendly to the workers. I wanted to tell them that the king could only do the right thing. If I'm right, they're about to propose a new big batch of workplace regulations, not just for the RRG, but for everyone. Will they make anybody safer? Doubtful. Will they be a death blow to our bottom line? 100%. Companies will rebound as we get Ziela back. How much revenue would the RRG stand to lose? Hard to say. Implementing the regulations themselves would cost a pretty penny. What do you think will happen if we pass those costs on to our trading partners? They'll hit the road faster than my first ex-wife. Alina raised her eyebrows. We've been seeing more global competition on the gold market, unfortunately. But for now, our product is of high enough quality that Rumberg is willing to pay more for it. Yes, but if the price rises further still, I'd rather not admit it, but Mr. Montoro may have a point. Don't get me wrong, Your Majesty. My personal finances, they'll be just fine. It's your revenue stream that I'm looking out for here. What else we got? What do we got? Well, we still have the Meftium International Trade Zone, don't we? The rules wouldn't apply there. Well, that's the other thing. Sure, RRG isn't a direct stakeholder in the trade zone, but we're involved enough to be highly worried about Alma Sultana. And I don't remember who she is. She is the current Prime Minister of the Republic of Morella and the leader of the left-wing coalition, Morella United Front. Goddamn commies. A Malivist. Dangerous figure. Right, Your Majesty. Banning propaganda in Rizia won't stop what's happening on her side of the border. Women's never picked up the chisel in her life. And suddenly she knows how to run the MITZ. She started calling for regulation over there as well. Or worse, nationalization. Morella doesn't have unilateral power over the international trade zone. Rizia, Lesbian, Voxland all have a say. And guess which one of those Miss Sultana has been closing up on the subject? Goddamn Voxland. If she and Hegel get their way, Rizia will either lose its mining rights or our boys will have to pray to Amaliev before going to work every morning. Let's see. No matter what, our revenue from this region takes a hit, and the CSP will claim another victory. The political aspect isn't as concerning to me as the loss of access to our most important mines. We have to keep a close eye on this. Well, maybe the company will rebound when we get Ziel back. We'll see about that, Your Majesty. 25 years ago, that little nub of a land was home to some of the fattest gold veins my company ever found. But never knows what shape it's in now. Better to focus on breaking new ground, if you ask me. Rumor has it that your relatives in Vatikias might be sitting on an extremely valuable real estate. That said, the more unnecessary requirements we have to meet to extract that gold, the less of it you get to keep. But aren't most of the RG miners laborers from foreign countries? With the regulations even apply to them? They're fixing to have it their way, yes. The folks pushing for these restrictions, I mean, regulations, are a mix of labor hands and honest goodness Rizians, with some support from the Sazzoons to boot. I see what they're going for, I really do. But giving them everything they want would set a dangerous example. A little extreme, don't you think? I agree we shouldn't impose more regulations than necessary, but investing in safer and healthier employees could lead to profit in the long term, foreigners included. Rusty took a big bite out of the watermelon slice. He wiped away the juice off his chin. Look, I won't press the issue any further. Just hope that you'll do the right thing if this ever lands in your lap. Who knows? If it all goes well, I might even persuade to sell you back the share the Honorable King Valero sold me. Lena pushed her chair back and stood up. I'm going to recuse myself from this part of the conversation. Where's the ladies' room? Ah, just inside. If you've never sat on a solid gold toilet, you're in for a treat. Definitely escorted Lena out. Hugo, Rusty, and I glanced at each other. I mean, I wouldn't mind having more stuff. Increase taken RG will exchange for refusing regulations. A bit of a bribe. I mean, I'm fine being corrupt. You know, I do like a little bit of money in my pocket. What do you think about all this, Hugo? I think our friend Rusty here is perilously close to overstepping his bounds. He let out a sigh. But cooperation with the RRG served King Valero well in the past, even after selling part of the royal stake. I take it as a positive sign that Mr. Montaro is opening up to renegotiating that stake. And I agree that overregulation of our industries would hamper businesses, while upholding workers to a dangerous degree. You're a smart man, Your Grace. You and I should go out for beer someday. Hugo looked like he'd swallowed something unpleasant. Yes, beers. I've heard of that concept. I would enjoy that. Give me a hint, Your Majesty. Is the crown on our side? I mean, I don't see a reason not to. We're in this together. Keep supplying the Kingdom of Gold, and I'll take care of any obstacles in RRG's way. Much appreciated, Your Majesty. And don't forget, you ever find yourself running low on crown funds again, the bank of little old Rusty is still open. Alina stepped back into the terrace. That was colder than I expected. I hope I haven't missed much. Hugo practically sprang from his seat. It's been a delight, but we must head back to Porte Drazon. And here I was about to ask you to stay for lunch. So soon, Your Majesty? Do we want to leave, or do we want to have lunch with Mr. Montoro? I mean, it's either don't worry, you'll be hearing from me, or, you know, a lunch would be lovely. You know what? We keep Elena out of this conversation. Don't worry. You'll be hearing from me. Not if you hear from me first, nah? See ya, Rusty. I could see him cheerfully waving from the veranda as Hugo, Elena, and I stepped back onto the board of the yacht. Fantastic, fantastic. So let's see. Football industry shows signs of stagnation. More decrees. So can I just like take a loan out from energy sale and sell weapons? I don't want to sell weapons at all. Allow free press? Absolutely not. You know, at least not for the moment. Raise income tax. Enact inheritance tax, landowners tax, remove income tax. Absolutely not. Can't do that. I don't know if we really need to worry about any of these quite yet. Is there? I'm trying to remember. Is there a way to see like what percent of the population is not our dominant religion? Because if there are too many people who are not our religion, taxing them would probably not be great for stability. What's going on in the news? Surveying nears completion on potential massive new gas field in West Antician. The gas field in West Francian Sea could contain massive new reserves, according to a geological source interviewed by Geopolitical. The Kingdom of Rizia and the Grand Duchy of Palace are still surveying the border of the recently discovered field, with conclusive ownership still yet to be determined. It'll all be mine when I conquer Palace. However, all signs already point to a resource of great strategic significance. Okay. And the Kingdom of Embark announced a decisive pivot towards a non-aligned movement, marking a strategic diversification from its historical alignment. This move, seen as a bid to craft alternative geopolitical paths, distinct from the neighboring Rumburg, challenges the prevailing influence of both Grace and the ATO. Coupled with the launch of the ambitious 10-year industrial development initiative, Embark's potential realignment could have far-reaching effects on the global stage, particularly by offering a third-way approach amidst the polarizing politics of larger alliances. Do I even know where that is? I completely have forgotten all the hotkeys. Yeah, look at Embark. Lovely, lovely Embark. But I would say that at least right now, this is going to be a good time for us to end this episode. If you enjoyed, thumbs up. Not doing it, thumbs down. You want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.